What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Venator Trading 10K to $2 million funding challenge, sponsored by the Bespoke Funding Program. It is Friday, August 11th, 7 a.m. Good morning to everyone here stateside. Good afternoon to everyone over on the other side of the pond. Good evening to all of you good folks on the other side of the world. Welcome back. Hope you're having a great day. What's up, Mr. Partha and Adrian, Cisco, Andy C, Gareth, Mr. Alfie H, Cougar Cat. I don't think I've seen Cougar Cat in here before, but welcome. Glad you're here. Welcome in. Welcome in. We'll be doing a $10,000 challenge account from Bespoke Funding. We'll be giving one away in the 9 o'clock hour. So stick around for that. I will give you details for how to register for that here in just a bit. But glad you're back with us. Hey, John, welcome in. Welcome in, welcome in. It's Friday. We've got some more news this morning. We have some PPI news coming out at 8:30, and then we've got the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report coming out at 10 o'clock. The first one I will wait for. The second one I will trade through. So we'll just have to wait and see. You know, it's kind of like yesterday. We'll have to watch and wait and see what kind of setups we get. August is turning out to be a very choppy month, which is so far to be expected. There's been no real direction. The last couple weeks have just been mostly sideways, which, you know, that seems to be pretty common. July was crappy, and August is not doing a whole lot better. But we're still in 2% drawdown. No trades taken yesterday. Hopefully we don't have to wait another 2.5 weeks before we find another trade. That would be ideal. That would be ideal. But you never know. You never know how. I mean, like I said, in May, the last week of May, we had a trade every single day. There was a setup. I called it. We took it, got triggered in every single day. 2 of those were break-even trades, and 3 of those were winners. So it's all completely seasonal on how often the setup forms. And May and June, we made 21%. And then in July, we made -6%, and so far in August we've made 4%. So we're still a little bit of we still have to claw our way out of some drawdown here to get back into profitability. One more trade and we will be 2% if we could win one more trade before we take a loss, we'll be 2% in profit. And so I'd really like to knock these challenges out, add another 10K to our funding, get into phase 2 of this 100K, and maybe start another 100K or something. So that'd be awesome if we could knock this all out by the end of August. And then we get into the fall months, September, October, November, December. The market tends to wake back up and start not being broke. So we'll see what happens. But LOL, sup, man? H, price action pretty bad today. Yep, it's very choppy, very seek and destroy type conditions. Grabbing buy side, grabbing sell side. Now we're back inside the range. We'll just have to wait. GDP news came out for pound overnight and did get a nice little bump. But it didn't really... It's kind of stalled out now. So it's just kind of come back up into this internal range here. And it's kind of stalled out. So we'll see what happens here. But I know there looks like there's some setup formings. There's some setups forming. But I'm not taking any trade until after the 8:30 news hits. If we get a setup there, great. We'll take it. I will trade through the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report numbers. And we'll go from there. Indices have been a little volatile, but nothing happened. Just up and down, and now some consolidation. There's just been no real direction on anything. I mean, just look. This is what we live with right here. It's not been super pretty. Not been pretty at all. Trading conditions are tough. And if you're pulling profits and wins out of the market right now, good for you. But most people are not. So they're just tough. It's just hard to get true bias nailed down when you're looking at price action. I mean, the daily chart is just, here's EU on the daily chart. It's sideways. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. This is back through the end of July and all the first part of August. So just not super clear on direction. We're basically just chopping in between two PD arrays. And if you go back and you look seasonally at August, it's doing exactly what you would expect August to do. But that's the way it is. Alpha Bridge, hello. Matthew, good morning. Mr. Partha, good morning. John, I've had my best 3 days in a row. That's awesome, dude. I'm glad to hear that. John, have you ever bought a funded account yet, or are you still on the sidelines waiting for my funded futures to open? Matthew, would you consider EU ranging on the 4 hour? Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's ranging on the daily. It's ranging on the 4 hour. I mean, it's a big range on the 4 hour, but I mean, it's a tight range here on this 4 hour for sure. It's grabbed buy side liquidity yesterday and it's come back down into the range. There was a failure to displace above these highs. So your attention returns to these swing lows, and the last week's low here as a potential draw on liquidity since we failed to displace in above these highs right here. So, well, it's just not super pretty. Just not super pretty. Oh, Muhammad, good evening. Corey, what's up? Waiting for my funded futures. I don't know what's taking them so long. I don't know if they're just stuck on behind the scenes stuff, if they're having issues with regulations or what. I'm not sure. Good morning, Easy SMC. Work smart, not hard. Did we finally break the lose streak? We did. 2 days ago. Back over here on, let me pull it up over so you can see it. This was Wednesday. We finally broke our losing streak. I really was expecting to find a win. Just statistically, when I look at my data over more than 100 trades, we're sitting in that 55% win rate. So we are a little bit below that right now, but still statistically we're above a 55% win rate. So that's one reason I don't get too flustered or upset when I lose 3 trades in a row. Technically, we didn't lose 3 in a row. Technically, we lost 2, then we had a break even, and then we lost a third. If you take out the break even, then yeah, we did lose 3 in a row. But I mean, it just depends on if you calculate break even trades in your data. Excuse me. I have those numbers, but I typically don't refer to break-even trades within my win-loss percentage, my win-loss rate. I know what my break-evens are, but when I take those out and I just look at pure win-loss rate is above 55%. And having that perspective is so important when you've taken 3 losses in a row, or 4. 4 is my max losing streak over the 100. So we could go on another losing streak right now, and these accounts could be in jeopardy. But I don't think we're going to. I mean, I don't ever think we're going to. I have full confidence in the way this system works, and it really is just waiting and being patient and then executing when you see it. I know some of you are probably sitting here like, hey, isn't that a setup right there? Don't we have a breaker with a fair value gap right here? I know some of you are thinking this and maybe have already gotten in this trade. Whoops. But I would not be in this trade. It may work out, but because my rules say I do not enter trades before red folder news drops that have anything to do with CPI, inflation, GDP, NFP, all those kinds of big moving red folder news events. I don't take any positions until after those news events drop. And so we have one of those at 8:30. And so we won't take any position until after the 8:30 news hits. But you can see we ran buy-side liquidity. We've run buy-side liquidity. We've run buy-side liquidity. We finally displaced through. And we displaced through. We rebalanced some of this price range right here. We did not take out all of the sell side liquidity. You have multiple positions of sell side liquidity still left untapped. So you go back and you see, did we take out buy side? Yes. Did we displace? Yes. Did we have a breaker with a fair value gap? Yes. But do we have red folder news? We do. So there's no trade to take there. Again, it might work out much like the U.S. oil trade here ended up working out. But you trade your system, and you follow your own rules. Do not wait for me to validate a trade for you. Do not rely on my analysis. You need to be able to do your own. You need to trust your own opinion. Your opinion is the only opinion that matters when it comes to executing a trade on your trading plan. That's the only thing that matters. Not mine, not Twitter, not Instagram. What do you see? Does it check off the rules for your system? And if it does, then you take the trade. Whether you pass or fail or get a payout, it all is on your shoulders. So don't just sit here and wait for me to call a trade and then think, oh, we're going to be just fine. That's not going to happen. I know I will be just fine. I know in the long run and over the course of the next several months, I will be just fine. But if you're just trying to ride my analysis and my opinion and my execution, it can work for me and it can still fail for you. I had people early on. Try to follow my trades when this was back in June, and I was winning trades and they were losing trades on the same trade that I called because of trade management, because they didn't trust my analysis. They got in late. They moved their stop. They closed it when it was in drawdown. I mean, all kinds of reasons that I was profitable in passing challenges and reaching payouts, and people that were here live on the stream were not. And they would message me and be like, I closed it early. I saw it going for I saw it approaching the stop loss and I just wanted to cut it. Or it started moving in profit and it started coming back towards break even. So I just cut it and took my profit. I mean, for all kinds of reasons, I was profitable in getting payouts, and the exact same people here watching on the live stream were not. So you have to own your trading results. They are all on you. I am here to sit here every single day and open the charts and get online and show you this is what it looks like to consistently sit down day after day with a very mechanical and systematic approach to the markets and execute one specific strategy and demonstrate how you can use that to pass challenges and stack accounts. That's what I'm here to do. You don't have to use my strategy. I don't care if you like it. I don't care if you love it. I just use whatever strategy you want to use is totally fine. It can be support and resistance. It can be OTE. It can be just a fair value gap. It can be whatever it is. It can be moving averages. It can be MACD divergence. I don't care what your strategy is, but have a clear set of rules and take responsibility for your trading results. Please don't just come in here and think Venator is going to make me rich. It's not going to happen. Good morning, Daz. Good morning, Michael D. Good morning, Red Ezekiel. I thought 5 losing trades was the worst I'd get, but ended up getting 7, which made me almost lose my challenge. Well, now you have the data. And once you have your max losing streak over your last 100 trades, once you know what that is, you can adjust your risk management to account for that max losing streak, so that if you hit your max losing streak, you don't fail a challenge. So if you know your max losing streak on your system over 100 trades is 7, then you could risk 1% per trade and still not blow your account if you hit your max losing streak. So you just have to know, that data. And until you have it, you shouldn't be risking more than probably 0.5% or 1%. And if your trading system has a 10, like let's say a 10 trade max losing streak, to me that feels very high for a profitable trader. I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm not saying that there aren't profitable traders out there who have 10 plus losers in a row with their system. I know it's probable, and I know there are probably some that do it. For me, if I had a system that loses 10 in a row, I would probably go back to the drawing board and figure out how to eliminate and get that down into the 5, 6, 7 in a row before I get another win. Not every system is going to have that. You just have to, you got to do your work. You got to put in the hours of backtesting and live forward testing. It's the forward testing numbers that matter the most. I don't care if your backtesting strategy if you've taken 200 trades or 400 trades or 4 years worth of trades on a backtesting session, and you come out with a 65 or 70% win rate. Those numbers don't mean crap It's the live market execution trades that matter. That's the only thing that matters when you're collecting your data. The backtesting is important. The backtesting tells you whether you have something you should trial in the live market with a small risk amount. That's the only thing a backtesting session tells you is, do I have something that I can now take to the live market with a very small risk percentage and collect the data over 100 trades. And once I have that data, now I have the real numbers of how I executed that system with money on the line in a live market. Those are the only numbers that matter. Alpha Bridge, October, November, December, going to be a blast. 100% my most profitable months in every year. And typically almost every trader's shining in the last 3 months of the year. So we're good. Yeah, we're good. It's kind of just, weather the summer months, try to stay at least around break even or slightly in profit or just a small drawdown. And then by the time you get to those fall months, things typically pick up. You get trends, and trends are easier to trade and have clear bias and direction, which often lead to more highly probable trading conditions. Hey, Beeswax, welcome in. With the 55% win rate, I think there's a 2% chance of hitting 5 losses in a row. I would have to go look at what the numbers are, but it's small and it can happen. I have not had that experience yet. I've not had 5 losses in a row with this system. I've had multiple times of 3 losses in a row, and I've had a couple of times 4 losses in a row. And I've had winning streaks of 3 in a row a lot. So, in fact, we had one of those. I think we've had I need to go back and look. We may have had 4 in a row going from the end of phase 1 and all of phase 2. No, that was probably just 3. I need to go back and look. But with my system, if I win 3 in a row, that's 12%. Now you got to be patient and you got to wait. You got to be patient, you got to wait, but it's totally possible. Totally possible. Let's just kind of look. Pound GDP here is been very bullish. The GDP numbers came in pretty hot for the pound overnight. So it is rallying back up off of its lows, off of this fair value gap here. Jump up here to the hourly time frame, but you can see we're still in this chop. We did grab buy side liquidity yesterday and displaced through, so we're back up inside this breaker here right now. So somewhere up in here, you could potentially see GDP or GBP turn around somewhere in here. You've grabbed a buy side liquidity. Here is your breaker, the 4 hour, and then you've got your fair value gap right inside here. It's reaching back up into that now. It could take off from here and we're in the same kind of yucky crap sideways mojo right now on the pound, but you can see off of this monthly fair value gap, we closed out last month. We reached all the way up and through it. We closed back rejected hard off of that at the end of the month. This month we've opened, came back down to the bottom of this fair value gap into this monthly order block, and now we're pulling back up off of it. On the weekly, you can see we've grabbed buy side liquidity here and we've pulled back down, but we have failed to displace below this low here. So we're still in an uptrend. making low, pulling in higher lows and higher highs. We have a swing low right here that has been respected. Obvious clear swing high up here. So it's just not been a very clean run. Here's that daily pop up. We've grabbed that buy side. That was again yesterday. That's this big wick here. And we're just inside this range. Today we opened, actually we gapped. Looks like we gapped lower. Is that on here? Yeah, I guess we did. Right here. Gapped lower, popped up, and then just ran. So we'll have to see, really, does GBP, does it want to retrace back up into some of this area before it continues to go lower? Or was this a break of structure right here, a change of character to run back up? If it's going to reverse, you would probably expect it to do it somewhere up here around this order block, inside this OTE, inside these fair value gaps right here. But again, no positions taken until after the PPI news comes out. And then we'll look and see what happens. Dollar just as choppy as euro dollar is. Nice, some buy side, nice buy side up here that it could be drawing towards. Hanging around this little volume imbalance here from the end of yesterday's session. Just not a whole lot to see, not a whole lot to talk about. GJ, still in an uptrend, still, especially with that news, still inside this dealing range right here currently. So until we take out this high or this low, we're just kind of, this is what GJ does. It gets a big range and then it consolidates inside that range and then gets you a big pop and then it consolidates. It's been kind of hard to trade and get a good vibe on that. We've definitely been in an uptrade and we have avoided a couple of losses. I can't remember which day it was on GJ that were looking like short setups, but I had said that we're in a bullish uptrend. These are not good setups. Don't take a short. And of course they ended up going long. But we haven't had any good long setups for GJ to get into. EJ, we did have one on EJ back over here on Wednesday, the day we won our trade. We had identified that setup. It did come back down into the breaker. It never got into the fair value gap or into even close to an entry. But it did respect that breaker beautifully well, reaching right back down into it and then reacting off of it. And it's just also in a massive bullish uptrend here. We did take out buy side liquidity overnight. We have broken through in a very similar setup here that you see with EU. You see it on EJ as well. But you've got a... whoops, that's not the right one. I mean, I guess it could be. It's fine. I would be looking at the very top of that fair value gap, and it never got back up to it. And again, not that there's no PPI news here, but we're in a very bullish uptrend on EJ. So I would not be looking to take shorts on any pair that's in a massive uptrend on the higher time frames. I mean, it's just, you look down here to the lower left and you see it climb. This is the daily time frame. So definitely very bullish. So you don't want to be trying to guess where price is going to reverse. In fact, it would make more sense to see this as a run on sell side liquidity and wait for displacement up and then get in on the next leg up off that breaker. This might work. If you take counter trend trades, it's that part of your system. Could be a nice little setup. I would be cautious here is that it already has run all of the sell side liquidity back into the displacement leg here. So it doesn't have to come back down any lower. It's tapped in. It hasn't quite tapped into that fair value gap or this order block yet. So, I mean, it might want to come back down a little bit here, but just, again, don't look at this and be like, oh, there's a breaker. There is a breaker, but we're in a uptrend. So this is not in line with the higher time frame bias. So be cautious. Be cautious. Jumping back over here, I'm going to try and catch up on some of the chat here. The worst for me is 3 setups, not including break even. That's good. That's a great 3 losses in a row is very easy to manage. Don't risk more than 0.5%. Anshu funded. Hope you're doing well, Venator. August is kind of a tricky month for me. First red month in 7 months. July was my first red month in a long time. And August so far is green. The account overall is still red, but the month of August right now is green. Hopefully we can keep it green. Corey, how do I get into today's giveaway? So what I'm going to do with the giveaway today is I'm going to tweet something that's not related at all to a giveaway. It'll probably just be like, let's go, or something like that. And then I'll post the link in here. And if you want to be eligible for the giveaway, I'll just ask that you go retweet that tweet. And then we'll give everyone a couple minutes to do that. And then we'll go scrape that tweet and draw a winner. Which reminds me, I need to get the tweet picker website back up and get it ready. All right, it's up. So I'll just tweet something out, and then we'll put that here in the chat. It will just be only the people here in the chat will even know about it, and unless you guys are tweeting it out, no one else will know. And it'll just be for the people here today on the live stream. So just hang out. We will get to that in about. We'll do that at the 9 o'clock hour, so we still got about an hour and a half, but we'll do that here. And somebody on the live stream today is going to get a $10,000 account with bespoke funding. That will be a classic challenge, a $10,000 account classic challenge, which gives you an 8% profit target for phase 1 and a 5% profit target for phase 2 with a 10% max overall drawdown and a 5% daily drawdown limit, which you should never, ever, ever violate. Never. The 10% max drawdown is the only one that you should ever be concerned with. So you have to make 8% before losing 10%. So that's what we'll be doing. And again, I I'm not a big fan of giveaways, but if I'm going to do a giveaway, I would much rather give it away to someone here on this live stream who is showing up consistently every single day and really trying to learn how to do this business. That's really what my hope is that you guys will take advantage of that. And maybe, hopefully, it can propel you forward in your trading career. That's what I'm hopeful for. Oh, trading night. Hello, Texas team. Byron Lemansky. Oh, I'm not even checked the news today. Yep, we got a little PPI going on. Y'all smash the like button. 38 in here right now, so definitely please hit that like button. It would be great. I don't ask you for anything else except to be active in the chat and hit that like button when you get a chance. Mr. Alfie said there was a breaker earlier today on EJ, which would have worked in the counter trend, but as it's bullish overall, I didn't take it. If in doubt, stay out. Absolutely. It's not even if it's in doubt, stay out. If it's not in line with your rules, stay out. So if your rules allow you to take a counter trend, then you need to execute when you see it. But if your rules say don't take a trade in the opposite direction of the higher time frame bias, aka counter trend trade, don't take it ever. Don't do it. Don't do it. So again, I would be more inclined to see EJ displace higher after grabbing sell side liquidity and try to catch the next leg higher. That's what I would be looking for. Same with GJ. Would be looking for a run of sell side liquidity and then displacement higher. Had a little bit here, failure to displace, a little here. I mean, this wasn't a bad run here. You had some, what was this? The Asian session. We grabbed the lows of the Asian session. We displaced up in London. We have pulled back to that breaker and rebalanced that fair value gap. It's a huge, massive fair value gap, but there's your breaker right there. And you can see it's played out very nicely. If you had entered either, I'm not sure if there is a lower fair value gap you could have targeted. There may have been one right there on the 10-minute. The 10-minute may have been your sniper entry, but if you had just even targeted this entry here on this fair value gap and put your stop below the candle that created the fair value gap, you would have smashed out a 1-2 winner already on GJ. Right there, there's your breaker setup. Potentially have another one. Oops, sorry about that. You might potentially have another one. So you've ran sell side liquidity here. You failed to displace until here. There's not a good clean. There's nothing good and clean right there. Yeah, nothing in there. So that was the earlier one was the best setup. 5-minute time frame offered you another opportunity right here. You grab sell side liquidity. You displaced above the high. You have your obvious fair value gap. You target 50%. Put your stop below the candle. Another 1-2 opportunity there if you were using the 5-minute time frame as well. So GJ given some decent little plays there. All of that was before the 7 o'clock hour. So there were I would not have been able to participate in that. But not bad little plays there on GJ already today. GU obviously displacing through its highs here. You did this. This is your breaker right here. This last up close candle before you ran sell side liquidity. You've displaced through it. It came back on this candle. It came back down into that fair value gap and rocketed away. So I'm going to take this whole setup off of here because it's not a valid trade, and I was really just giving you guys that analysis of, hey, don't take trades before red folder news. So we're just really in a holding pattern right now until 8:30, and then we'll be able to start our hunt. Chase, hey guys, Adrian, it's your birthday today. No way, man! Happy birthday, Adrian. How old are you? We need a way to be able to celebrate birthdays in the chat a little bit better. Dukatung Lu, how many trades do you allow yourself as a daily stop? One. One trade per day. That is what I'm allowed. That's all. I wait and I take the very best possible setup that I can find if it comes. If it comes. Very often, I get no trades. But I'm allowed one trade per day, win or lose. So in May, I think I took 15 or 16 trades. In June, we took 12 or 13. And then in July, we took 4. In August, we've taken 1. So July and August, definitely not great for the breaker setup. And some of that is just the way the market moves. You're not getting clear bias runs. You're getting choppy price action, and that often does not play well. How many weeks do I have to wait for my first payout on base pick? 14 days. If you get funded, you have to wait 14 days for your first payout. So 2 weeks. Dev, hey everyone, why don't you guys press the like button and appreciate V's effort? Yeah, why don't you? Come on. I appreciate that, Dev. Andy C, are there no volume imbalances in Forex? No, there definitely are. There's a volume imbalance right here. They're different on each broker. So you could look at ACAP and you'll see that volume imbalance right there. But on FXCM or Oanda or whoever your broker is, you might not see that. But they do exist, and they do work and act as draws on liquidity and support and resistance. But they're there. How to be eligible for the giveaway. Just stay tuned. I will post a link to a tweet here in about, I don't know, probably about an hour from now. We'll post a tweet. And then you guys will go retweet it. So if you don't have a Twitter account, make sure you get one. Go ahead and lock it down right now. You've got about an hour. And then follow Venator Trading. And then when I tweet that out, you just retweet it. And then we'll use that tweet as the giveaway qualification, basically. So however many people are in here, that's how many people will know about it. And we'll do that in an hour and 15 minutes. To 32 years old, Adrian. You are in the prime of your life, buddy. I hope things are going well. I hope you have a great day today. I really do. You got any big birthday plans? You going out with the boys or that special person in your life? I hope the coming week is the week we resume our weekly uptrend. All depends for me is if this weekly candle ends in green and closes above the previous candle high. It's going to be, it could, yeah, close above this week's high. If it fails to displace above this weekly high, your eye definitely goes back down to the lows. But yes, if it could close above that high, I think you continue bullish. But, you know, you're just stuck inside these fair value gaps. You're just stuck inside these fair value gaps. It's just bouncing around. And it could do this for another 2 weeks where it just comes up, taps in, comes in, taps down here, and it just does this until September. That would be horribly frustrating, but it's not out of the realm of possibility at all for August to do that. So I would love for it to trend, but the chances that it's just going to start trending hard for the remainder of the month are pretty low. Only trade New York sessions. That's correct. Any reason you limit to one a day? Say if you see a setup on GJ and another on EU, since there's no cross, would you not consider both? Now, I would consider setting limit orders on both, but if one got triggered first, whichever one got triggered first, I would cancel the other. I'm not going to be in two positions at one time. Technically, my strategy does allow me to split up my 2% loss for the day across multiple trades, but I just don't like doing that. It's a personal preference for me, totally personal preference. I could do that, but I have, even on this stream, called out multiple trades at once, but they're all completely, one cancels the other. So as soon as one triggers, the other one gets deleted. Now, except when I did that with gold and euro dollar, and I forgot to delete the euro dollar trade, and they both got triggered. The gold lost, the euro dollar won, and that could have been a very bad day for Venator trading, but it ended up working out. That was a crazy day. Like a button smash. Never seen any ICT style live streams on YouTube. I'm going to tune in as a regular. That's awesome, man. Thank you. And feel free to share and post it out as well. The more the merrier. You're welcome here anytime. And I'm sure there are other ICT style live streams out there. I don't know who they are. I haven't done a lot of digging to find that out. Seems like GU will go down. I mean, it might. It's reaching up here into the buy side liquidity. It's pulling back from this into this breaker block right here. So you had this run on liquidity on the 4-hour time frame. We displaced back below, and now we're pulling back up into and rebalancing these areas here. The GDP news for the pound overnight was should be bullish for GU. So, I mean, this could be seek and destroy, where you're just grabbing buy side, you're grabbing sell side, and then we get the true move, which could be bullish here. But I mean, with the inflation numbers coming out yesterday and inflation rising year over year, it went up, not down. Definitely makes you more inclined to be slightly more bullish on the dollar long term, as you could anticipate a further rise in interest rates, which would create more value for the dollar. So, you know, big rejection wick yesterday. It could come back down even to near 50% of that wick here. The consequent encroachment, as ICT likes to call it, of that daily wick. And then on the weekly, you're very bullish here still. You haven't taken out last week's high. This is still an inside week from last week. We didn't take out last week's high. We haven't taken out last week's low. Maybe we get a push up here. But these two daily fair value gaps we're just ping-ponging back and forth between them here. This is a daily order block up here that we've tapped into back inside last week. And again on, what is that, Tuesday? So could come back down if this daily order block wants to hold. So far, it has not respected any of these imbalances until we've gotten to this top one. It has respected inverse fair value gap here, but we still have not traded through this fair value gap. So this fair value gap with this order block currently is what's holding price down, and this inverse fair value gap, and if you even bring that all the way back up over here, that inverse fair value gap is what's holding price up. So those two together in this volume imbalance here. Anyway, just killing time here. Killing time. Let me go back over to chat, finish out there. EU trade would have been stopped out. It doesn't seem like it would have been because of news. Is it because it wasn't a good breaker? For that matter, what makes a breaker work? When is a breaker good or trash? I can't seem to get breakers to consistently work. So the breakers are just failed order blocks, ultimately. So when an order block fails to support and hold price, when price returns to that area, it becomes an inverse order block, or ICT language is a breaker block. It means that that PD array was broken. It was not respected. And so when price returns to it, it should now act as resistance or support, depending on which way you're looking. And price should now move it in, continue to move in the original direction, away from that breaker. So that's why they work. They don't always work. And often it's just, it just depends on what's going on higher time frames, why some on lower time frames might work or not. So that's why having a higher time frame bias is pretty key, and understanding where your higher time frame draw on liquidity is. Once you can feel pretty confident about where your higher time frame draw on liquidity is, then you can look for trades into those liquidities areas. So if your draw on liquidity was this breaker block, let's say, then once you're down in here, you would be looking for a liquidity run on a lower time frame away from this draw on liquidity. So if this is your draw on liquidity, is to come back up into this fair value gap on the higher time frame. On the lower time frames down here, you would be looking for price to run liquidity in the opposite direction, displace higher, and create a breaker on a lower time frame that you could tap into here to run into this buy side liquidity. So that's really what you're trying to do, is where's the higher time frame draw on liquidity? Once you can identify that and you have decided for the day, for today, my higher time frame draw on liquidity is what? Once you know that, now you can drop down into your lower time frames. And if you were expecting this to be the draw on liquidity, here, right here, you would be looking for, on these lower time frames, runs of liquidity in the opposite direction away from this area. So anytime you see price breaking and grabbing liquidity and then displacing higher, these runs higher now are giving you the opportunities to look for entries on pullbacks to then run into this buy side liquidity if that was your target. So for instance, right here, you see price run buy side or run sell side liquidity. It stabs down under these relative equal lows and it displaces away. Once you see that displacement, you identify, where did this run on liquidity begin? It began with these up close candles right here. Once those up close candles get traded back into, that's a breaker block. So If price was going to continue lower, these up close candles should have been respected and bearish order flow should have continued. But it did not. It broke through and disrespected, it violated, it broke that order block. Once that order block is broken, we can then, and it gets broken violently, it gets displaced through quickly. When price comes back, you can expect it to act as resistance as a breaker block. And for this specific instance, you don't have to have a fair value gap. You can just trade a touch of the breaker. You for sure could have just traded a touch. As soon as price comes back, you see this displacement, you set your order, and you put your stop on the other side of the breaker. And you could either target the draw on liquidity, you could target 1 to 2, 1 to 3, whatever it is your trading strategy dictates for how you identify your profit targets. If it was just the draw on liquidity, it would just be up into that fair value gap or maybe that volume imbalance, which would have been a 2.5. Of course, I do a 2.0 or actually like a 2.1 is what I target. So just a touch of the breaker is a workable and viable strategy. For me, I like to have the unicorn setup wherein I like to get in about halfway inside that breaker with a fair value gap. It gives me a little bit more sniper entries. Now, it does mean that I miss some trades and I get swerved, but the entries that I do get often are just very good sniper entries, and I can have a quick TP because of that. So that's kind of some breaker theory there for you, John. I hope that clears it up for you. Just identify those higher time frame draws on liquidity, and then you're looking for runs in the opposite direction, displacement through, wait for those pullbacks to target those higher time frame draws on liquidity. That's a quick little breaker education. You should just watch my trading strategy, John. I'm just kidding. I know you have. Often the lower time frame breakers don't work because your higher time frame draw on liquidity is not correct. That's been my experience, at least, is when I've failed to have the proper bias for higher time frame draw on liquidity, that's when it most often fails. That's not the only reason. But that is one of the reasons, is that I just didn't have I was on the wrong side of the market with my higher time frame bias. So therefore I was looking for trades in the wrong direction of the higher time frame, and then I would get slapped from that. So, and you know, the more you practice it, the more you backtest it, the easier it is to see those setups. Of course, hindsight's 20/20. It's being able to identify those moves live when they're happening. That's where the true expertise comes in, obviously. And you just got to get your data, and you got to go and review those trades and figure out, where did my analysis, was this an analysis mistake, or was this just part of not every system wins? You could be right on your higher time frame draw on liquidity. You could be right on identifying a breaker, and they can still lose. Sikambuso, I'm having trouble with my entry. It just depends on, I don't know what your trading style is there, Sikambuso, but you know, you've got to have a clear rule on where your entry should be. Have a rule written down so you know where your entry should be. Now, just because you have a rule written down, you need to still collect the data on how effective that rule is and should it be changed. And for me, that's 100 trades. There's a lot of people out there that say you don't need 100 trades. You only need 20 trades. You only need 25 trades. You only need 50 trades. I'm just telling you, for me, the larger data sample that you have, the more accurate your future looking probabilities are. So that's why I say 100 trades. Does that mean it's going to take you 6 months or 9 months to get that data? Yep, probably. But I'm not here. I'm more interested in the next 6 years of this business. And if it means I need to take 6 to 9 months to get that data so that my next 6 to 9 years are extremely profitable, then what's the big deal? Take the time. There's no rush. Absolutely no rush. Do you study ICT's 2023 material? I do not. It's way too much information. It's his 2022 mentorship is probably the most clear and concise material he's ever put out. Probably the most helpful. But I have not watched his 2023 stuff, and I don't intend to. Thank you. I'm a simple man and need to mentally consolidate that information. I'll need to redistribute further questions in the future. Yeah, no problem, man. Just ask. Brad, your EU chart looks quite different than my chart. I am looking at EU Oanda. Yeah, this is an 8-cap. This is an 8-cap chart. So 8-cap is the broker that I use for bespoke funding program challenges. So they probably will look a little different. They shouldn't look like crazy different, but they will be different. Alpha Bridge says, yeah, this is why trading is so different from a regular job. You can do everything right in a whole month and you can still lose some money. Absolutely, man. You can do it all right. You can do everything exactly the way you intended to do it, the way your system tells you to do it, and you can still not make money. It's so different than how the rest of the world works. Almost in every other area of life, you do your job right, you get paid. Almost in every other area of life. So trading is definitely kind of the opposite side of that, where you can just execute absolutely perfectly and still not make money. Chase says, I know the moving average condensed all of ICT's videos into a more bite-sized version. The moving average. I'm not sure I'm following you, Chase. You're saying somebody condensed all of his stuff? I'm not understanding that comment there, buddy. I've had issues with the ACAP feed in the past. One of the prop firms I was on in the past used ACAP, so I switched it on TradingView and started to notice that it often had delays. Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not. I keep my MT4 machine open over here on this terminal, and they've always been pretty much right on. Now, I will say with the funded trader, I've had issues with 8-cap. I have never had an issue with 8-cap with Bespoke. I don't know what the deal is with Bespoke and 8-cap versus all of the other firms that use 8-cap. But for whatever reason, they have the just a super clean feed and execution. Like right now, it is 0 pip spread on euro dollar. There is 0 pip spread. It is just the price. There's 0 spread. And often it's either a pipette or 2 pipettes not even a full pip. Half a pip maybe is as high as I've seen it. And the order execution is just chef's kiss. Moving Average is a YouTuber. I got you. I'm not familiar with him. But yeah, man, there's definitely a good market for someone to condense ICT's videos down into just the basics things that he's trying to teach and filter through all of the other stuff. God bless him for sitting through all of that and editing it down. It's definitely that's a gift to a lot of people. That is a huge gift to a lot of people. All right, our news is coming out in about 24 more minutes, and then we can start looking to see what, if any, kind of setups we get in our forming. Oh. That EJ trade got triggered in. Back up into that imbalance there. There's a trader on Twitter saying the auto close feature Bespoke is not working. So the auto close feature for Bespoke is, I think, a work in progress. So you have to be in profit for 7 seconds, a minimum. I think so they've said it's their servers and their software evidently are pinging everyone's accounts between 1 and 7 seconds. So if you're in profit, you pass your challenge, and during that time, their server did not ping to see that you had passed your challenge and closed that trade, and then your trade goes back under the profit target, it won't close it out. So it's only if while you're in profit over the profit target that their server pings your account, sees that you're in profit, will it close it out. So it happened to me on, I think, one of the phase one, or I don't know, one of these profit challenge, one of these profit targets that we've hit, went into profit. It didn't close it out. But here's the thing. They have the data. And if you just email them and say, hey, I was over the profit target, the auto close feature didn't close it out, they can go back, they can verify it, and they will move you on to the next phase. They honor all of those. If their auto close feature, which they advertise and is one of their unique selling positions, if it does not close out your trade and you can see that you definitely had gone over the profit target and it didn't close it out, they will still honor it and they will still move you forward. But there's a time delay between when you cross that profit target and when their software pings your account and to see if you're over the profit target to close you out. So it does work. It just is. It's not instantaneous. It's not like it does not have a set order in the market where your profit target is hit every time you enter a trade. It's not like it's calculating your lot size and where it would be that you need to hit your profit target, and it sets an order there and just waits. It does not do that. It's pinging your accounts. Their software is looking at every account that has a challenge, and it's going through them according to the CEO, between 1 and 7 seconds. So, it's got a lot of information to process there. So it does work, but it also is not instantaneous and it's not perfect. And therefore, they still honor that. Gareth Pollock says, will be interesting to reach out to the powers that be at Bespoke to see why their spreads are better. I think it comes down to just they can negotiate that with whatever broker they're using. And it seems as though they're more inclined to let the traders have a cleaner trading experience versus other firms that either they're taking a cut on the spreads, so the broker is passing along some of that spread to the prop firms as profit, as revenue. And so other firms are like, hey, we want a half pip spread. And Bespoke is just like, look, we're not going to do that. We'll just give our traders the best conditions. But I don't know exactly how that all works on the back end, so I'm not sure. I'm just kind of hypothesizing there. Siri Dev, if the breaker has a fair value gap visible on the 15 rather than the 5, then do you think it has more probability? Yes. I always start with the 15-minute time frame, and if there's a clear fair value gap on the 15, that's always the one I use. If there's not a fair value gap on the 15, I will then drop down to the 10-minute and then to the 5-minute. If there's multiple fair value gaps inside of a breaker, then I will drop down definitely to the lower time frames and see if there's just one that's ultimately better. Ultimately, my entry is I try to get my entry as close to 50% of the breaker as I can. Sometimes that's not always possible, but that's kind of what I try to shoot for. Good morning, Moby Dick. Welcome in. Watch all of them 22 mentorship, every minute of it, just to not miss some info. Definitely worth watching. The 2022 mentorship was, in my opinion, ICT's best content. The most simplified way to understand several of his concepts. Andy says, I knew about the moving average guy, but I thought it was just retail stuff. I need to go check out the moving average guy. I'm completely unaware. Let me go pull his stuff up. I'm going to go see if I can find it while we're waiting. Moving average channel. Let me see if that's the moving average. All right, there he is. Hey, puppies. What's wrong? She got into the trash again? Maggie! Were you dumpster diving last night?
This is a problem.
It is a problem. She's got to get over that. So let me pull this up. Let me see. Is this the guy? I just want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing. That's the guy here, huh? Make your own bot, passive income. How to identify liquidity, support and resistance, order blocks, supply and demand, SMC, silver bullet. I did some live trading, evidently. Everybody puts their face on their thumbnails. I don't put my face on my thumbnail. Maybe I should start putting my face on my thumbnails. That's like a thing, I guess. Live. Look at, he did 10 months ago. US 30 live trading. Looks like he did quite a bit of that. 2 years ago, he did some live. Interesting. All right. Good to know that. Nice color scheme, bro. Black and yellow. We got the same vibes. All right, we got about 15 more minutes here until our PPI news comes out, and then we can start. Any chance we can do the giveaway before the news? I mean, we could, but I did publicly say 9 a.m. So you got to get out of here, H. You can't stay. No barking today. What's going on out there?
If I repeat something, you're going to say it online.
I am going to say it online. Good morning, love. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Artie from the Moving Average has a trading community as well. It has courses and rule-based strategies that uses indicators. Is euro dollar going on a 4-hour order block? We definitely did point out the 4-hour time frame here on EU. It is currently being supported by this bullish order block here. So coming off of this low, you put in a higher high, you've put in a lower high, a higher low, a higher high. Could potentially be putting in a higher low here. You've got some nice relative equal lows under here and under these swing levels. But yes, this BPR, so a BPR balanced price range is two fair value gaps, the area between two fair value gaps that overlap. So this fair value gap, this fair value gap. A balanced price range is when price comes back and rebalances both of those together. So currently grabs some sell side liquidity and has displaced higher here. So, and on the hourly, you can see multiple BPRs. Small one. This is probably the one that you're most interested in. But you can see nice clean lows here, nice clean lows here. Kind of trickling up on this little trend line. So maybe you get a stab up with the news into this order block, and then it could potentially come back over. Alternatively, this thing could just shoot back up. I don't have a super clear, other than rebalancing this whole area. That's really my current higher time frame draw on liquidity. There are nice relative equal lows down in under here, good sell side liquidity that it could reach for. So we'll just watch and wait. "30 minutes after the news." So 9 o'clock New York time. So it's 8:19 currently. So we still have about 45 minutes for the 9 o'clock hour, the New York time, for that giveaway. There may be a setup after the news. Yeah, I'm hopeful that there's a setup after the news. But with 15-minute candles, it's plenty of time to look at setups and do the giveaway at the same time. So it'll be fun. Major respect for anyone who trades live, even those that we poo-poo on in here. Yeah, man, it is huge props. If you get online and you put yourself out in front of the whole world to watch for free, or even behind a paywall, really, even if you're paying, if people are paying to watch you trade live and you're still trading live, it's great. I think the guys that are here on YouTube that are doing it, mad respect. It adds a whole nother level of pressure to your mental game and your ability to execute. There's a reason why people don't trade live on YouTube, or even in their communities. There's a reason why they don't do that, because there's so much on the line for their credibility. Nothing exposes you faster than calling trades live online with video proof and people watching you. So, in doing it consistently every single day, that just doesn't happen very much. I'm watching for the 1 hour breaker on EU, which is in line with the OTE of the leg, and a 15-minute fair value gap. See the reaction there. Are you talking about this leg, the leg down? Is this the one you're talking about? This leg down here? I need to pull that up. It was off my chart when I got it. And this is your 1 hour breaker? Or are you talking about this leg up that we're currently in? Fib is on the 1 hour. Yeah, I know, but is this the leg you're talking about? This leg down from the, after we grabbed buy side liquidity yesterday, we had this big leg down. Is that the leg you can see a shift and a second breaker after? Maybe you're talking about this one. Boop, boo. If you're talking about this, then I was gonna say I couldn't see a leg here. This is the only leg on the 1 hour time frame. On the 15-minute time frame, yes, you get this. Yeah, this leg. You have a change of structure right here. You did run buy side liquid or sell side liquidity here. So if you're pulling that, then there's your breaker. These two down close candle, or sorry, this up close candle ran sell side, and then you get into here. So that's potentially where you're looking at, somewhere in here. You could see a push up. If you're looking for shorts, then if you're short bias, what you're doing is, oh, you're talking about over here. Talking about over here. Is this what you're looking at? I'm just trying to figure out which leg you're talking about. Like what time? Give me the time and the day of the candle that you're drawing your fib on, so I can see what you're talking about. Up here. You could do there. I mean, all of those you could do. You could pull it from there. Either or, there's breakers all up in here. You ran this buy side liquidity. You've distributed through. You could use this breaker, it grabbed buy side. You could use this breaker that grabbed the ultimate buy side. But either way, 104.37. This high. There you go. Yep. So yeah, you're getting, this is that leg down I was talking about, that you grabbed buy side, you've broken through and displaced below. And so yeah, I would anticipate if price wants to return or reverse here and go lower, it wants to rebalance a lot of this and pull up into this order block, which is also breaker blocks on lower time frames. I agree with you. I don't know that I would just go short off of that. That doesn't fit my strategy. If that's your rules and that's your strategy, then that totally works. And I have seen past breakers on lower time frames from previous days. They do work. I just don't like to use them. I would rather see is price spike up and grab more buy side liquidity here, and then come down, break through, and then you get in here and target that sell side liquidity. So if I was looking for shorts, I would want to see the news spike up, and you might be getting in here off this breaker. I would rather see confirmation of this spike up and then displacement lower, and then potentially use, like, let's say this candle here as your breaker, and then try to get displacement through that with a fair value gap in here, and then get in short, something like that. That's kind of how I would like to see that play out today. But this breaker up here, and it's in a premium, it's filling in a fair value gap, it's in line with a higher time frame order block. You could certainly look for an entry up here as well. I would not want to just blindly take that trade, but it does give you a great risk reward if you're targeting some of these relative equal lows here. You could be looking at something like that, or even above this fair value gap, and that still gives you a 1 to 2. So all valid strategies. Again, I'm not trying to convince you to use my strategy. I am just trying to convince you to be patient, to follow your rules, wait for your setups, and then execute. Peter says they're looking to sell GU at the 78 fib of yesterday's daily candle. Yeah, I was saying with GU as well. You're getting into this order block now. You've rebalanced into this fair value gap. So any kind of fib here, somewhere up around this OTE area on the 4 hour, is at this area right in here, I would be looking to see if GU even wants to reach back up into there. Technically, it's inside of this 8 hour. These are 4 hour candles. So these two together are an 8 hour order block here. So we're back up inside of that. We're almost back up into a premium level. So if it wants to go short, it could do that right here. But we'll watch and wait and make sure that we are seeing clearly the moves we want to make. All right, we got about 2 more minutes here. We're finally going to get to our news event for the day. We'll watch here on EU. Why not? And we'll see what happens. And then we can start looking. No matter what happens, we're going to need at least probably 2 15-minute candles to form before we look to find a setup there. Just real quickly going back through, eyeballing all of our current situations. I don't know why I'm looking at US oil. I just need to take that off. All right, here we go. About 20 more seconds. 0.3. So the PPI month over month actually went up. It was at 0 previously. They had forecasted 0.2 and it came in at 0.3. And that's good. As I said, that means inflation is going up, which is probably going to be strong for the dollar. If inflation's rising, it just means if the cost of goods is going up, if things are rising, then the likelihood that the Fed continues to introduce more rate hikes increases, and that's only going to pump the dollar. So you're seeing that negative reaction here on GU, that sell-off now after reaching back up into those higher time frame draws of liquidity here. So if we get some displacement through some of these areas, we might be able to find some decent setups. You know, what you don't want to see is you don't want to see all of this sell side liquidity get run. We do have several areas of these lows that are kind of clean that you would hope a couple of them are left untapped from this news event. So that if you do get displacement through, you've had this run of liquidity here on buy side multiple times, it's stabbed back up. You just don't want to see all of this just get shot through right away. Fed printing money like crazy. Yeah, and they're sucking up all the liquidity in the markets too through all the bond buybacks and stuff. So it's just, it's not a, I mean, I know it's been bullish lately, but it's not a super bullish atmosphere right now. S&P tapping into its sell side, grabbing that. Nas also tapping in. US 30 hasn't taken out those same lows. Probably will, but it may have taken that out just barely. But with inflation numbers coming up, both with CPI and now PPI, it's rising. It's not going down. It's heading in the wrong direction. That probably means these highs could get retested today on the dollar. All right, about, let's see, 25 minutes. 25 minutes, we'll be doing our giveaway here for our 10K account. Aussie dollar, grabbing some liquidity and tanking here. This was our chat pair from last week. Hey, Bekong, welcome in, man. Good afternoon to you. Value trader, yo, what pairs should I be focused mostly to trade in the afternoon of New York session? It's the only thing that I can trade. Afternoon session for New York. Oof. Indices are still moving pretty well in the afternoon session for New York. So the US 30, the S&P 500, the NAS, they still get movement in the afternoon session. The Forex pairs, typically by the time you get into the lunch hours of New York session, the Forex pairs have calmed down and you typically don't get big moves after like 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock New York time. So, but the US 30, the S&P, the NAS, they still do move pretty well in the afternoon sessions, and you can find some decent potential there. Eurodollar just falling off a cliff. This is one of the reasons I'm not a big fan of trading on red folder news days. Is not only do you have to wait until the news drops to look for a setup, very often after the news hits, you just get such massive moves that your setups, your good clean setups are hard to find. You're going to have you have to deal with massive fair value gaps. Oftentimes your liquidity areas that you're targeting and wanting to draw into, they all get tapped and they all get swept before you can even get an entry to participate in that. So red folder news events days are, they're tough, man. They're tough. I don't typically find, I would need to go back and look and see how many times have I found a winning setup on a red folder news event day. And I'm talking about the ones that I don't trade until after the news, like the PPI, the CPI, the NFP. I'm guessing there's not very many days where I actually get into a trade after a news event drops. I'm sure it's happened. I just think it's probably not as often as just a non-news event trading day. Oh, John. They may not print money, but they can definitely just change the ledger and say that money exists now. They can just add some digits to your bank account or print a check. Yeah, there's definitely not enough currency to match the amount of... there's not enough of actual paper currency to match the actual number of dollars that exist currently. That's true. Views on dollar Swiss, we can take a look. What's your take on the difference in culture for stock trading and Forex and why you think prop firms haven't ventured into stock trading? Regulation, mostly, probably. The amount of licenses and reporting and just paperwork and oversight that goes into stock trading. Also, the liquidity in stock trading isn't there. Forex market is so much more liquid. It's easier to get in and out of positions, way easier than it is with stocks. There are some firms, I think FTMO does stock trading now, at least for like some of the biggest names in the stock world where there is massive amounts of liquidity. So Google, Tesla, Apple, those kinds of companies. I think FTMO actually lets you do some of that. There may be some other firms that do too. I'm not sure, but I think overall it probably has more to do with just regulation. It's easier to do a Forex prop firm than it is to do regulated securities. Not a scold. Not a scold, not at all. It was funny, just the somebody leaves a comment and then John's like, actually, actually, let me tell you the real truth of the situation. Dollar has taken out its buy-side liquidity here. The euro also now taking out the correlated sell side. We're into the, that's a 10-minute candle. Let me get back on the 15-minute time frame here. The nerds make the world go round, John. None of us would be able to do any of what we're doing right now without nerds building all of the systems and softwares that we need to do what we're doing. So We have all of the luxuries in life that we have because nerds exist. 100%. Somebody had said something about we've had this big run on sell side liquidity here. We've got nice, clean, equal highs above us. We're getting, after this run on liquidity, we're getting displacement away. So just very quickly on a 15-minute time frame. Man, what a choppy mess. What a choppy mess. Grab sell side. We've had a change of structure. Higher high. We've pulled back in. Grab more sell side. We're trying to displace higher. I mean, I would definitely probably be bullish dollar here, at least through maybe this high here. You also have a lot of relative clean relative equal highs right there. And you've had this big massive move down on the 4 hour here. You're back up into a premium level of that. You're back up into the OTE level. And that actually needs to be pulled off of that fib right there. So you're not quite on the daily. You're not there yet. But on the daily, you have had this massive move down. It's rebalancing a lot of this area here. So if dollar Swiss wants to continue lower, I would anticipate another run of liquidity here, back up into this OTE area, maybe into this breaker, this daily breaker over here, which lines up with these fair value gaps. So potentially bullish here on dollar Swiss. But you can see these nice, clean, relative equal highs up here. And this higher time frame swing level. Excuse me. All right, this first 15-minute candle is about to print, and really what we're going to need to see now is on this next 15-minute candle, what kind of fair value gaps it leaves behind. Does it just pull back and retrace completely? Was this the fake Judas swing on the news event, and now we want to go higher? So we've seen the initial reaction now for the first 15 minutes. We've tapped into some sell-side liquidity. You're getting a little bit of a nice reaction here. So as this next 15-minute candle opens and we close out this hourly candle, where does this hourly candle want to close? And so that's what we're kind of keeping our eye on. Whoops, sorry about that. Friday and Monday are no trading days for me, just watching the stream today for the giveaway. It's a good reason to watch the stream, and I'm glad you're here. And Mondays are typically no trading days for me. In fact, if I was not doing the live stream, I wouldn't even open the charts on Mondays. I would just leave it be. I feel like I'm super dark. That's as bright as it gets. What have we done on the week here for EJ? Pretty bullish. we EJ setting up a nice, if EJ closes up above these highs today, it's setting up a nice little order block. You could anticipate next week opening, dropping down into here, and then rallying up again. Did take out yesterday's high and it's failed to displace above it currently. Got about 15 more minutes on this 4-hour candle here. Depending on where it closes today, this would be where you would anticipate, if it doesn't make a new high, this is the weekly break right here. If it displaces up and can close up here again, you could anticipate next week opening in Monday, dropping down into here, getting a low of the week on Monday or Tuesday. Boogeyman's upstairs today, evidently. Just another lottery ticket. I don't think you guys are here for the lottery tickets. I really don't. That's why I like doing them on the live stream, making sure you guys get these things. You're more likely to not treat it like a lottery ticket than some random Twitter follower who doesn't ever come in to watch the live streams. So it's all right, Mr. Partha. Same here. I'll lose a trade on Monday, then an entire week goes in getting back to break even. Well, I would encourage you, Mr. Partha, to stop thinking about trying to get back to break even. Stop looking in the short term. It's going to really mess with your psychology if you are just trying to make up losses. You have to get away from evaluating your losses by how quick can I make that up. Just focus on executing the best setup that you can find every time. The wins and losses will take care of themselves. Don't try to get out of drawdown. Don't try to get back to break even. When you start focusing on that, you're focused on the short-term results, and you really need to be focused on the long-term result. You need to be concerned about the next 100 trades, not the next trade. That will help with your mindset. Did you go through a phase where you thought you knew the technicals, but your psychology was not on par with it? And how do you overcome those psychological barriers? Absolutely, man. I spent 3.5, 4 years thinking that all you needed was good technical analysis, and it was really my psychology and my emotional decision making that was keeping me from executing at a high level. And I've talked about this a lot yesterday, but you just get to a point where you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and you suck it up and you start acting like a mature, wise businessman, and you start treating this stuff with the seriousness that is involved with it. So here's kind of what I'm anticipating for GU right now is I would be looking at something like this. And here's the problem that I run into when I look at situations like this. Oh my gosh, hold on. Man, you're getting a good clean breaker here on GU. you have a very obvious fair value gap. The problem becomes your fair value gap is so large, even on the 5-minute time frame. It's way up here. So where do you put your stop loss? For me, if I was going to target a 50% entry here, I would need to put it above the swing, probably at least the swing level here, above these highs, maybe here. I can still get a 2-to-1 before the low gets taken. If we can do that. I don't, this is why trading those news events, you get these huge fair value gaps. If you put your stop up here at the top of the fair value gap, then you've got, your price just has a lot more work to do to hit your TP. So maybe it's here. Where does that put it? It does put it just below these lows. I mean, that may be a little bit better. If you wanted to just target those lows, you would need to put your stop right there, which is at above these wicks, pretty deep into that rebalance there. So we'll wait and see how that goes. But that's a potential setup here on GU. EU, you're getting a lot of run here. It's reaching into all of the sell side liquidity that I was hoping it wouldn't run that aggressively at. So that's unfortunate there for EU. You do still have a lot of lows down here that you could be, this swing level specifically. And on the 1 hour, you have a nice little breaker here. But you would need the next 1 hour candle to leave a fair value gap. And it just gets a little more tricky on how to play this out. I feel like you would need, I'm not sure you would be able to get this deep of a pullback on that breaker. This is where the last run of liquidity started. This swing started down here. We pushed up. I'm not sure you're going to be able to get that deep of a pullback. If you use that, it would need to pull back pretty deep. If you used all of these candles as your breaker there. 15 pip stop on euro is pretty high for me. I will let you know about the giveaway here in just about 5 more minutes. Played golf here in Houston Heat yesterday. Ooh, boy. You're a brave man. I would definitely not be playing. If I wasn't on the golf course already right now, there's no way I'm going out there after like 8 or 9 o'clock to start a round and being out there until after lunch. That's brutal. That does not sound like fun. David Dreams, good morning. Welcome in. Matthew Hope, that's one of the issues I sometimes face, the discretion involved when refining the stop loss when it's too big. What key tips do you have when this occurs? I mean, I just try to see where did price, if price is going to return to where it broke through, where did it struggle to break through prior to that? And I can see these obvious wick levels here, this breaker here. I honestly just try, it's complete discretion, but The stop is above the breaker, which is the main thing. It does not encompass the full fair value gap, and that's the concerning part to me. But I could put it, just at the top of that wick, which also lines up with the high of this. Again, it just puts my TP into a area that I'm just not super sure it can do that much more work today. So that's kind of the main issue for me. If I did think it was going to take out these lows, then I put my TP here and I go, where does that put my stop? And is that stop in a safe place? It is above the breaker. It is above these highs. This last fair value gap was disrespected. So, it's also above that. That could act as an inverse fair value gap here inside of this larger fair value gap. So let me just get my colors right while we're sitting here talking about that. So that's the breaker I would be looking at. Inside, you obviously have this large. I'm not going to mark out this large fair value gap. It's pretty obvious, but this is the inverse fair value gap that you could use and identify as a potential area where if price retraces up in here, you could anticipate that fair value gap being the turning point there. And then you could just say, well, I'm going to have it right here. I'm going to put my stop, above that point. And if that fair value gap fails, then we're probably on the wrong side of the market. But that does feel pretty safe to me. Quite honestly. That feels pretty safe to me. EU is just running all of the sell side very aggressively here. This swing level is the one that I would be like, if it taps into that, I don't think I would want to be trying to get involved in EU today. You can see the indices are not having a good go of it today. Aussie might have a potential setup here as well. You got these three little candles. Are your breaker there? So you could potentially look at something like this, which is a little bit cleaner to work with. On Aussie dollar here. I'd probably just put it up above that. And that still puts these lows in play. If those get run first, then you probably wouldn't have an opportunity there, but that's a nice looking potential entry there on AU. Dollar Swiss, I think I would not use. I wouldn't want to use this. I would want to see displacement up through these highs, and that hasn't happened yet, just yet. All right, here we are into the 9 o'clock hour. Let's take a peek. I like this setup on GU. If we can get a pullback here, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. Let's see. right, I'm going to get that called out here. And then we'll get to our giveaway. So I'm going to call this entry at 27035 with my stop at 27211. You taking off, babe? I love you. And my TP at 26667. So there you go. We're gonna let me tweet this out. We may just use this as our giveaway tweet. What about that? That may good. Maybe good. Trade alert: GBP USD sell limit. Entry is 1.27035. My stop loss is 1.27211. And my TP is 1.26667. There is your screenshot. Post. Send now. All right, let me just make sure my copy trades are up and going here as well. I want to look at those. May get triggered in here pretty quick. May get triggered in here pretty quick. We shall see. That could go quick. Boop, boop. All right. We're into the 9 o'clock hour here. I am watching this. The quick hourly open and a quick pop up. Back into that hourly breaker right there. We'll see if it wants to push up a little bit higher and trigger us in. It would be unfortunate if it turns right there. That would be unfortunate. Also be par for the course for how things have been going here on the stream, getting swerved. Excuse me. Not triggered in here yet. I'm going to wait just a minute here to do the giveaway. I want to see if we can get a screenshot of this if we do get triggered in. That entry is 20735, not 36. But we're still not in. All right, 52 viewers. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to... I'm going to go tweet right now. Well, actually, I'm waiting. I think we're about to get triggered in here. And if we do, I'd rather just get a screenshot of that. It's just going to mess with us here for a minute. Almost triggered in. There it is. All right, we're triggered in. We got a trade. 2 trades in 1 week. What the hell is going on around here? What the hell is going on? Okay, so here we go. Now we can do our giveaway. So I'm going to tweet right now. I'm going to tweet. Oops, let's not do that. All right, here's the tweet. I'm going to put the link in the chat. The tweet is let's go. So I'm going to put the tweet over here in the chat right here. Please go tweet that. What the heck? What's going on here? I need to get way back up here. If you click on that link, does it take you? Yeah. Okay, so go retweet. Go retweet that tweet, the Let's Go tweet that I just put up, please. Go tweet the Let's Go, retweet it, sorry. Go retweet Let's Go. I just tweeted it. I put the link there in the stream. I'll give you guys just 3 or 4 minutes. We'll get that retweeted out. Looks like there's 18 so far, and there's about 45 of you guys in here right now, so we'll give it a minute. I'll give you until we'll do it like at 8:15, so 5-6 minutes here. We'll get you guys a chance to retweet Let's Go, and then we'll use Twitter Picker to draw our winner. We'll give away a 10K account here. So 27 I see right there already. Man, I don't know if it's allergies or what, but it is just getting not fun. 30 retweets so far, and there's about 50 of you guys in here now, so please, on Twitter, go use that link and retweet the Let's Go tweet. And then we'll draw off of that. So I'll give you guys about 5 more minutes there, and then we'll go up to Twitter Picker. I need to see where I'm going to set an alert here for break even while we're doing that. So it's about there. So if we can take out London's lows here, I'm going to move to break even. So London's lows are right here. So if we take out London's lows, then I will move to break even. Otherwise, we do nothing else with this trade. It's either going to hit our stop loss or we're going to be able to move to break even. So if we can move to break even, great. Awesome. All right, let's see. We're up to about 35 retweets. Guys, if you're in the live stream, it says there's like 50 of you guys in here right now. If you don't retweet the Let's Go post, I cannot follow you. I cannot. You won't be eligible for the giveaway because we're going to use the Twitter picker and it's going to pull the retweets off of the Let's Go tweet. So if you don't retweet that, you won't be eligible for the 10K giveaway. So please, please, please. I know you're in here and I know you're watching and I know you want to win that 10K account, but you've got to go and retweet that. Trade's looking good. I mean, it's moving in our favor right now. Nice little sniper entry. Got in at the very top of that 15-minute wick, but we're going to need, I mean, it's still got a lot of time left and it's still got, it definitely still, we have a ways to go to hit break even here. So, but yeah, it is looking good from 6% drawdown to 2% profit. Yes, we would be in profit if we can pull out a win on that, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm not worried about it. If we lose this trade, I don't care. I'm not. It does not faze me at all. If we win it, great. Back on track. All right, we got about 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes for you to retweet the Let's Go link. Two more minutes, and then we will use our Twitter picker here to draw our winner. If you're just joining the stream, you need to retweet the Let's Go tweet on Twitter, and I'll put it back up in here one more time. There's the link one more time. If you're just joining the stream, if you want to be considered for the 10K account giveaway, we're drawing that in about 1 minute. So you have 1 minute to go retweet that link. And then we'll pick out our winner. Do you let your trades run through the weekend or no? I do not. No, if this trade is still running without hitting my stop loss or take profit, I will close it out by the end of the day. I will not hold this over the weekend. So I'm hopeful that as this next 15-minute candle opens, it'll push us down into at least break even, and then we don't have to worry about anything else after that. All right, here we go. The 15-minute candle is up, so we're going to go over to our Twitter picker. So let me, I'll keep that going in the background, and I'm watching it over here on my MT4. Let me get the Twitter picker website up here so you guys can see all of that. So everything is legit. All right, so here we go. So we're going to put in the tweet. This is the tweet, and it will load it up right here. Let's go. And we're going to one winner. You must be following at Venator Trading. And you don't have to have a picture. It's fine. Tweet count is any, account age any, last tweet any. Fine, cool. All right, continue. So there's 42 entries. So I don't know why there's 54 people watching and only 42 of you are eligible to win this, but that was the rules. That's what we're doing. You can see some of your names up there, but you know, just so you can tell that I'm not. Here's all of the pages that we've got. These are the people that are eligible to win the giveaway. All right, so we'll continue. And good luck to everyone. I do hope that you will not use this and treat this as a lottery ticket. I do hope that this is something that you will use and stay here on the live stream, that you will be diligent. You will treat this with the seriousness that it deserves. Also, huge shout out to Bespoke Funding for giving us these accounts to give away. They make all of that possible. So, drum roll. Begin the draw. The winner is Cisco. Let's go. Cisco, you're the winner, buddy. Cisco he was the last to say good luck, and Cisco wins. Way to go, buddy. DM me over on Twitter, and I will give you specific directions on how to claim that account. Way to go, Cisco. I'm very, very, very happy for you. Another long-time faithful viewer getting rewarded with a 10K account from Bespoke Funding. So good job, man. Your loyalty is appreciated, and the stream wouldn't be what it is without your active participation in the chat. You're in here every single day, and you're active, you're commenting, you're helpful and encouraging to people. And so I'm very, very happy that you got that account. So way to go, man. Congrats. He was literally the last person to comment good luck, and then he won. So way to go, buddy. DM me on Twitter, Cisco. Just send me a DM and I'll shoot you the instructions on how to get in there and claim that account. But good luck with all of that. Man, we were really close to moving to break even right there. That's unfortunate. Thought I was going to make another little push down and we could pull off that break even, but did not quite get there. Who's the handsome man at the bottom of that list? I don't know. He's a good looking guy. It was a tiny little profile picture, but you know, it's a decent little picture there. We'll do another giveaway next week as well. We'll do one giveaway a week for August, and then maybe in September we'll see if I can coax a few more giveaways out of Bespoke. And quite honestly, so we'll kind of evaluate our first month with our sponsor here at the end of August. We'll kind of evaluate how it's gone from my side and from their side. And if all goes well, maybe we can get a few more things out of that. Ataraxia, we do a giveaway every week, typically on Fridays. Sometimes it's on different days, but typically on Fridays we like to do our giveaways. So it left that London low in place, and that's unfortunate. I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. There is some, the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report comes out at 10. That is a news event that I will hold my trade through. The the consumer sentiment reports are ones that I will still take setups on. The manufacturing numbers are also one that I will take. The ISM, the manufacturing reports that come out, I'll trade through those reports. I'll trade through the consumer sentiment reports. But pretty much everything else is off the table. I really don't like that it left those lows down there, that it respected that London low. I'm not digging that at all. I'm not digging that at all. Not good. I don't like it. Let me go see if let me see if he DM'd me yet. Yeah, he did. Let me give him his instructions here real quick, guys. All right, now I'm going to tweet out congrats to... Oh, I forgot his handle. I got to go grab his handle. Let me grab that. All right, there we go. Let me do that again. Congrats to... for winning the 10K account giveaway on today's live stream. 10K account giveaway from @bespoke. There you go. There you go. But we'll do some more giveaways next week. Again, we'll do one a week each week for the month of August, and then we'll go from there in September. I might change it in September because I might just do like multiple giveaways on one day. I feel like that builds up a little bit more drama, and you have to wait, a couple weeks for the giveaway to happen, but multiple people can win at one time on that stream. And so maybe that's a better way to do it. This is all really just a big experiment right now with the best way to do it. This is our first month doing weekly giveaways, so there's a 10 a.m. Oh yeah, we already talked about that. Sometime during a London session live. Maybe we could do a giveaway on a London whenever I decide to actually do the London live stream. That is, whenever I actually decide to do it. I need to go back and follow up. Felicitas Machado. The stats would be good. I need to keep track of my winners and go back and see how those stats are going there. That would be a good thing to do. Benedict, first comment. Welcome in and thanks for leaving a comment in the chat, buddy. Grateful you're here. Uh-oh. What just happened? What just happened? Did he just delete his comment? Am I blind? Wasn't there someone in here who just said Benedict? Wasn't he just a guy in here that said, and then that just like completely disappeared? Am I seeing things? Accidental click. Okay, I was like, I swear to God, I just saw someone named Benedict leave a comment and then it just disappeared. H inspired, trying to be positive here, but I bet a lot of people took longs at those London lows just now, so thinking it will drop to take them out and therefore maybe hitting your TP. I mean, it could definitely. I don't like that it left them in place there. I don't like that. If it can just tap into those London lows, I will definitely be moving to break even. Accidental click. Asian session, not so fun. The only thing I really do in the Asian session is set up my limit orders for my overnight entries on order blocks, higher time frame order blocks for the London session to get triggered in. So that's really the only thing that I look for. That's really the only thing I look for in the Asian session. It's not a very fun session to trade live, like on the 15 minute. It's so there's just consolidation everywhere typically in the Asian session. So I mean, I like that this 30-minute candle here is closing bearish. I mean, guys, I swear to God, that is a true sniper entry. The high of this candle on TradingView it says 27033. But on my MT4, the MT4 high is 27038. And my entry was 27038. Literally, the exact high of the candle is where that entry was. Are you freaking kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? I'll just show you on my MT4 here. Oh, I need to get to pound. Go to the chart. I don't know if you can see that. Let me see if it's kind of hard to see. That's a beauty, man. That's a freaking beauty. Let's go. Literally no drawdown. Literally zero drawdown on that trade. The pound vexes me. 6BU is too expensive for my trading plan, and M6BU is too illiquid. John, you got to get on one of these prop firms, man. Get off those futures charts. That's crazy. Can you elaborate on the placement of stop loss? So I talked a little bit about the stop loss when we were setting it. My main issue that I was running into is I typically like to have it above the fair value gap, but because this fair value gap is so large, let me go to the 15-minute time frame. Because the fair value gap is so large here, I didn't want to go that high because then my TP would have to be way down here outside of this liquidity. So the main thing that I want it to be above the breaker, which it is. And I wanted to be above an area outside of the breaker that price obviously had problems getting through before. So you see, and this is a little bit of a retail. This isn't true ICT, but there's obviously price struggled here and price struggled to go higher here and all of this. This was obviously a run on stops, and then you get displacement away. So with my stop loss being above a lot of these wicks, that was my main reason putting it up that high. This inverse fair value gap, it came right back up to it, touched it, and now we're completely dropping down away from that. So that's why I put my stop there. Ideally, I would like to have it above the fair value gap, but that was too high for my liking. And so I just identified a few other confluences to help me place it right there. If I had cojones of steel, I would have just put it right at the back end of this breaker right here, just a pip or something. Like if that's 6.3, maybe 2 pips above the breaker. But I don't have cojones of steel. So I gave it just a little bit more breathing room. That's what we call a sniper entry. Yes, it is. I've got to join a work meeting, but now catch you later if you're still on. Thanks, Cisco. Good luck with that challenge. John, I think you interviewing the ones who won would be interesting, especially if they failed the challenge. Short-term failures are just action plan steps towards long-term successes. Yeah, I agree, man. It could be really interesting to see what they have to say. If this thing doesn't move to break even, I'm going to be really frustrated with this trade. I'm going to be really frustrated with this trade if we can't get to break even on this. The headshot. One shot, one kill. Try and take down our trophy buck today. Trying to. But I don't like that we can't attack those London lows right now. That's real frustrating to me. Geraldo Rivera and Mike Wallace. Daniel, yes, we're in the position. We got a sniper entry today. No, what I should do is buy a prop. Then 6B wouldn't have to been too expensive. That's right. You need to buy a prop, man. Get in on a prop firm, baby. See you, Red. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back on Monday. I really, really want to see those London lows get taken here, or I feel like our trade is in jeopardy. If we can't take out those London lows, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. But that order block is holding strong right now. This hourly order block here on London time frame is being respected, and that's not good. I don't like that. For our trade to have any hope here, we're going to need those London lows to get tapped just so we can even just get risk-free. I think price will go back to your entry. Don't say that. Come on, man. See you trading night. Thanks for being here. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back next week. Thanks for stopping in and viewing the stream today. Don't want to see price come back to our entry. I don't want that at all. Maybe the news will give it that push through. Maybe. Euro dollar is still looking a little heavy. DXY has taken out, it hasn't taken out last week's high yet. It's trying to, but it's left it in place. I'd really like to see DXY push through that high If the DXY can push through that high, that's going to be good for our trade for sure. See you, Gareth. Thanks for being here, man. I mean, I really would like to see this thing drop, but you just never know, man. You just never know. It's setting up a lot of nice, clean liquidity here on those relative equal lows for sure, but that doesn't mean crap. Oh, man. It could drop, but the fact that it just left those things right where they are, it's kind of frustrating to me, and it's just not a really good sign long term for this trade to work out here. Is there ever a case where you would not take a trade on GU or EU based on the dollar? Only if the dollar is running liquidity and the others are not, and then it gets the reversal. I mean that could be a sign for me that things may not go well. So it doesn't have to, but that's just kind of the nature of. EU and GU are the most important things for me when I'm watching trades. Why did I just close that out? I don't know why I accidentally do that all the time. LOL, see you, man. Have a great weekend. Did you move to break even? I've not moved to break even. I will not move to break even until we get down here where this little dash is. It's an alert I have set. That's where I'll move to break even. If we can get there. It's either a stop loss. It's either going to reverse and take us out, or it's going to hopefully allow us to move to break even. But the fact that it left these London lows in place and it's respecting this hourly order block here, I don't like that. So maybe the news at 10 o'clock will push us down and give us a little bit of extra juice there. But I don't like that it's this hourly order block. We tapped right into it, and the next hourly opened and we tapped right back into it, and both times it found massive support there. So I don't like the way that looks or feels. We do have some nice little relative equal lows here, so if we could make a little run on those relative equal lows here, I might just move to break even if we could break a new low, whether that London low gets tapped or not. this is the level that I would look at. If we can take this out and reach that level again, I would go to break even, maybe even there now. Whoops, not right there. That's the order block. So if I can take that level out at these lows that we currently have in place, I will go to break even. So it's 1.5. 1.5 R is where I move to break even, or it's around 1.5. It's not just 1.5 or nothing. Like, you have to look at the chart and you have to go, what area is around 1.5 R where I can move to break even? Are there lows? Is there a fair value gap? Is there some PD array at around 1.5 R that's going to allow me to move my position risk-free? A headshot trade certainly deserves a break even. I totally agree with you. 100% Alpha Bridge. Headshot trade definitely deserves a break even. That fair value gap in the 5-minute at your entry looks attractive to me. Price will play around with. Yeah, maybe. It might. That little inverse fair value gap, it reached up into it. The high of this, where the high is 27.031. And that's exactly where it reached up into and tapped. The 8-cap trading view feed is just like a pip or two different than the actual 8-cap bespoke feed on my MT5. So on the MT5, the high was 27.038. And on 8-cap trading view, the high is 27.033. So there's about a half a pip difference, which is why here on this long short tool here, it doesn't show it triggered in, because my entry was 27.035 here. That's where I wanted to get in at, and it says that it only went up to 27.033. So it doesn't show me triggered in here on TradingView, but it is definitely triggered in at 27.038 on MT5. Next 15-minute candle's about to open here. We got about another minute, and I still just don't feel great about where we're at. I feel like this thing is going to turn around and try to rebalance all this. So that kind of sucks. Getting that sniper entry and not being able to take advantage of it. All right, new 15-minute candle. I'm going to go use the restroom real quick, y'all. And then we'll be back and we'll see if we can get to at least a break even on the live stream today. I don't have anything going on this morning, so I can stay on here for a little bit longer. So let me go use the restroom. I'll be right back. This 4-hour candle just opened with this hour. Opened, put in a top wick. Hopefully that's the high of this 4-hour candle. Hopefully that hourly high, or that 4-hour high, is in. But I definitely hate that this little fair value gap is being respected. This order block and this fair value gap, this hourly fair value gap right here, is the bodies are respecting it. It sucks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all, man. One thing that always has helped my psychology when I'm in a trade like this is watching it on, once I'm in, monitoring it on higher time frames. Can help with emotional and the psychology behind it all, is when you're up on the higher time frames. So when you're on the lower time frames and you're watching candle after candle print and you see it go up and then you see it come down, and you see it go up and you see it come down, it can mess with you. And just going up to higher time frames, you suddenly see things from a different perspective, and you're like, okay, I can manage this a little bit better now. It just helps psychologically. Watching and waiting. The WW as an evil sits on our shoulders. Yeah, there's that angel that sits on your shoulders and talks to you the whole time you're in a trade. This is part of the pain that traders feel when they're in trades. Oh, I'm in profit. I should just close it out. Like right now, I'm basically I'm above break even. If I were to close this trade right now in profit, all of my accounts would be above their starting account balances. So you have that whole psychology working in your head of like, just close it. You're in profit. Just close it. Close it right now. Take the money. But you completely decimate your edge in the market, which is your risk reward ratio, if you start closing trades early. So I've learned that the hard way. I've learned that all of the pain, the perceived pain that I'm feeling about this trade reversing on me and losing my profits right now, it's not real, and it's a false alarm. And I've had to learn how to just go over onto the wall and just flip that switch off and ignore those false alarms. So that's what I'm trying to do, is just, I have a very set, specific rule, trading management rule. It is, when you're in a trade, there are 3 outcomes. You're going to have a stop loss, you're going to have a take profit, or you're going to have a break even. Those are the only 3 outcomes. That's it. 3 outcomes. Stop loss, take profit, break even. And the only decision I have to make after I'm in a trade is, where do I move to break even? That's the only decision I have to make. And I refined that down to around 1.5R. If I can get to 1.5R or around 1.5R, depending on market structure and price action, then I'll move to break even. Everything else after that is just waiting. And honestly, most of the time I'm in a trade, I just shut it off. But we're here on the live stream. It's worth watching, talking through all of the different emotions that go on that you feel. And, seeing this fair value gap get respected sucks. Seeing this order block get respected sucks. It does not feel good. I would be lying if I told you I felt fine watching this thing retrace after my sniper entry. That sucks. It just is what it is, though. I mean, it just is what it is. And if it comes back if it comes back and slaps our stop loss, no big deal. Just more data, just more information to add to the pile. It's manipulation. I think it will go down. I don't know what it's going to do. I don't really have any thoughts. My thought is more inclined that it's going to go up and make a new high here after respecting this order block here. I would anticipate our stop getting run. Especially if this fair value gap here gets violated, this inverse fair value gap gets violated and closes above, it definitely means we're going to lose this trade. I don't see it coming back down now. It retraced, pulled back into it. It's coming back up to it again. It's breaking that high. This was the area that we needed it to. I mean, we were within a pip and a half of going to break even, and that sucks. It really sucks. We got news in about 3 minutes. I don't like that it's up here when the news hits. I'm not a fan of that at all either. One thing I'll say is that anytime I get into a trade, I assume a loss. I assume a loss every time I take a trade. That's the risk I was willing to take. And so I assume that the trade is going to lose. And that's why when I see price fail to take out a swing low like this and pull back aggressively off of that, I assume that it's going to lose. That's my assumption. Always. But we'll find out probably here in the next 5 minutes. We'll find out in the next 5 minutes. I'm guessing. No, I'm not going to move to break even until price gets to my break even point. I'm not going to break my rules. I'm anticipating a pretty quick stop hit here. Yeah, there it is. Stopped out on the news as expected. That sucks. That sucks, man. Let's see. Let's see here. Let me go over to my. See, our stop was 27211, which is exactly, we got filled on our stop, so that's good. We didn't get slipped on our stop. Let me check the other accounts, make sure they all yeah, that one's good, and that one, well, I do have some good news. It looks like oh no, where was that? That was that one. No, that was it. I do have some slightly good news. There was a mistake on the trade copier. The $100,000 account only took a $200 loss there. It copied it lot for lot instead of 10xing it. So it's not all bad. I can update the numbers here live on the stream. I don't trade certain red folder news. There is red folder news that I will avoid, but there are some that I will trade through. The consumer sentiment reports are ones that I'll trade through. Let me update the account numbers here. So the 100K challenge actually came out okay on that loss. It is sitting at, let me get back to it. 97,836. 97,836.59. So, I mean, that's the best news I could have gotten out of that whole thing, is that my 100K account didn't take a full 2% loss there. So, all right, not too bad. The other accounts are now 4% in drawdown. Let me get those account balances updated. The phase 2 is 61133. Excuse me. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that thing just disappeared. There we go. And the funded account is 609.61. And we can update our losses as well. All right. There we go. Took the L. Back all that down. Man, that sucks. We could not get to break even right there. That's very, very unfortunate. We'll tweet out our loss because we do all of that, wins and losses. All right, there's the loss on Twitter for accountability and transparency. It's all there. All right, let me get back over here. We'll get back into the chat. That all happened, and I didn't get to everything. Now it will go down. It may go down from here. It filled in that complete fair value gap. And then, again, this is the one reason I was like, I like to have my stops above the highest fair value gap, but to do that, if I had put my stop all the way up here, my TP would have had to be all the way down here. And that's just a huge amount of movement. It's more movement than I typically like to have on a day trade, especially this late in the trading session. So I took a chance and I had it in a pretty safe place. I feel like, gosh dang it. 27, I think it was 27211. I think that's where I had it. Which was above the highs of these wicks here. It just wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. So if I'm going to evaluate this trade right now, the only thing that I would caution myself is where was that TP? It was, I don't know, it was somewhere around here. 6667. There it was. The only caution I would give myself in the future is just, hey, red folder news, when you get these big wicks, you still have to respect those massive amounts of fair value gaps. You have to account for them. So that's probably the only thing that I would consider for the future. It was a good setup, run of displacement. I mean, we had a run of liquidity. We had displacement away. We had a clean fair value gap inside of our breaker. We did get our sniper entry. We just could not get to break even right after our sniper entry. That's the part that I think probably stings the most, is when you get sniper entries. You had literally zero drawdown. You move into profit over 1R, and you just couldn't get to break even. Barely missed your break even point. And that's the nature of mechanical systems sometimes. When you take out discretion and you just follow your rules, sometimes your rules don't always work in your favor, and discretion here would have been more favorable. But you don't know. There's no way to know which time the rule is going to work and which time the discretion is going to work. And so I always just stick to my rules. So in this specific instance, we got a great perfect entry, headshot entry, but we could not get to our break-even point, and that sucks. It really does suck. But it happens, and we took the loss. And so 1 win this week, 1 loss this week. We're still 2% up for August. We're still 4% drawdown from July. So the good news is that we had 2 trades this week. We had more trades this week than we had almost all of July. So that's good news. We had a good setup. We took it. We nailed it. And we took the L. So, lesson learned. Respect your rules. Maybe I should have kept my stop loss up here above the fair value gap as my rules stated. The news and the size of that fair value gap, I allowed it to have more discretion. And, had I followed my rules, we'd still be in this trade right now. There's no guarantee that doesn't turn around or that it comes down this far to that TP right there, but we would have been protected otherwise. So you never know. It's just lesson learned. It's data point, and move on to the next trade. So we'll be back next week. We'll be doing the same thing that we did this week. We'll just be watching, waiting. We'll be patient. When we see our setups, we'll execute them and take the trades. So 1 more win, and now our account is basically reset on the next win. If we can get a win before we take another loss, our account will basically, all of our accounts, actually the 100K will be in good position because of that trade copying snafu. We only lost $200 on our 100K account. So it's actually in a really good spot. Which, there's some silver lining there. Sometimes mistakes happen and you can capitalize on them. You lead by example. Learn something today. Thank you, man. We're so close, but we always have a next trade. Yep. It's not the outcome of this trade means absolutely nothing. It's the outcome of the next 100 trades. This is just another data point. It's just another statistic that I can add to the trading journal. That's all it is. I'm not pissed off. I'm more pissed off that we couldn't get to risk free than anything. To get that clean of an entry and not be able to get to break even sucks. That's the part that probably stings the most on this trade. Is not being able to get to a risk-free position. So, but I followed my rules. I did what I needed to do, and it worked out the way it did. We hit the stop. So as soon as it didn't clear those London lows right here, as soon as it left those in place and it respected this hourly fair value gap, I knew we were in trouble. And that's just the way it goes. Let's see what else. Man, that stinks. I'm sorry, Brad. It's no biggie. No biggie. Have a great weekend, guys. Stay safe. Yep, Michael D. On to the next one. Hope you all have a nice weekend. Lesson learned. Absolutely. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it right here. Thank you for being here today. Thanks for watching the stream as always. It wouldn't be what it was or what it is without you. So I appreciate you being here. You guys have a safe weekend. Enjoy, get outside, do something fun, get away from the charts, and we'll be back on Monday at 7 a.m. Adios, y'all.